A while ago, I talked about Dexter's Lab and what I thought about it. It's a show I really liked as a kid. I really liked that Dexter was a mad scientist, but ultimately, it's not a show I particularly need to revisit. However, the show had other segments. One was Dial M for Monkey, which is basically Perry the Platypus before Perry the Platypus, and the other was Justice Friends, which I did want to talk about tonight. Justice Friends was fun. It was three superheroes and the adventures of their everyday lives in a crummy little apartment. But they did it great. It was very funny. It was their personalities. They did a mix of the superhero stuff with the mundane stuff, and it was genuinely a lot of fun. I revisited a couple of the sketches, and I do admit I do have the nostalgia goggles on, but even then, there is still a fun personality with them. The characters are genuinely fun and interact off each other in a really great way. The comedy really does come from these characters and the fun they have with these situations. It's, again, the mundane, but with the superhero stuff. It's very much older superhero tropes that you would see in the comics from the 60s and 70s. But they're great. The comedic personalities, even if you don't know what they're parodying, but it's pretty clear where it's coming from. I mean, one is a Major Glory, who is a parody of Captain America. He's a good comic foil because he's I guess the de facto leader, but he's the uptight, very patriotic character who takes himself way too seriously, and that's very funny. Then you have a Valhallan, who is a parody of Thor, but he's done as a rock star, which is great. And then you have Krunk, who is a parody of the Hulk, and again, these personalities work off very, very well because there's a good contrast between these characters, and you can tell there was a passion put into this. I've noticed, while I don't particularly get into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I do like superhero tropes in animation because there is so much fun you can have with an animation. You can do anything. So you can exaggerate the comedy, you can have more fun with the designs, and you can really push and really be creative. It does parody an older sensibility, but you can't really expect it to parody modern stuff for obvious reasons. It's just great. There was one sketch that I remember really liking, and I revisited it, still fun, is a Valhallan and guest White Tiger, they defeat a villain together, and Valhallan's giving White Tiger a place to crash for the night. Krunk loves him, and this all takes place at 1 a.m, and Major Glory, who's allergic to cats, is trying to get him out, and then hilarity ensues. It's really fun. That's what I mean when I say it's a mix of the superhero stuff with the mundane. Because it's these superheroes, but at the same time, they're just dealing with everyday shit, but in their own weird superhero-y way. I actually don't know if a younger audience would be into it. I would have to say yes. While it doesn't, there are definitely references in there that a younger audience might not get. But the comedic personalities of the characters are still fun, and they are still distinctive, and the energy really is great in these shorts. The sketches are well done. And I'm saying this as someone who doesn't like an overwhelming majority of sketch comedy. So, admittedly, nostalgia goggles, and I remembered this. I think part of the reasons I recently posted a fictional crushes video, and I revisited these in high school because a friend of mine had a thing for Major Glory and wanted someone to talk about it with. And I said, you do you, but he's too uptight for me. If I'm going for anybody in that group, it'd be Valhallan. I'm not relaxed. I like people who are, so by default. Yeah, that was... You know what? Support your friends. Watch Justice Friends. I'm actually not ending the video there because, again, the comedy was really good. The characters are very distinctive and very likable and they're all fun in different ways. Take Krunk, for example, he's a parody of the Hulk. He's the dumb one of the group, but at the same time, because he's still his own fun brand of dumb. The dumb characters, you see that a lot in animation, but this was still, he was still fun, and, he still was, because he was still this big hulking guy, but a dumb, gentle giant who was full of heart, and that's always fun to watch. I like likable, passionate people. Passion's contagious, and that's very much what we saw in that character. Valhallen was obviously really fun. He's, the very mellow guy managing all the chaos around him and just takes it really easy. And he's played as a rock star. That's really funny. Thor's hammer is his axe is it's a guitar, and it's a really cool design. It's a ton of fun. Even for a mellow character, he still had a fun energy to him. And of course, Major Glory as the butt of the joke. I like him as a comic foil. In the same way I'd like someone like, I don't know if most of my audience is going to know this reference, but Cece from The Nanny, which is another show. You don't always appreciate the straight man that much, but that was a character who was, Cece was a character who was the butt of the joke. This is someone who is trying to get with someone that the main character was trying to get. It was a love triangle. And this one character, she was constantly the butt of the joke, but she would set up everyone else to make fun of her. And that was also done very, very well with Major Glory. He took himself too seriously, and he was so tightly wound, and so when he was the butt of the joke, it was very, very funny. And it's a great exaggeration of Captain America, just make him this uptight, ridiculously patriotic person, but there was still a passion there too, and you could tell this was coming from the whole show was coming from this very fun place and not a very bitter, angry one. I don't mind cynicism, I don't mind dark humor, but ultimately I like passion. We see enough misery in the world, so I like seeing something that had a lot of passion thrown into it. And obviously, even if I don't like something, I still can appreciate when something was done with a lot of passion. But this was still very good. The sketches were good. It was a great blend of the fantastical and the mundane. The characters were great. They bounced off each other. The references, if you can catch the references, it's a fun extra. I like that. I would say for the most part, the references, you probably would have to know them, but enough of the audience at the time would have gotten it, so not everything would be understood today, but the core of what it is would be, and that is a bunch of ridiculous superheroes living in a tiny, crummy little apartment and dealing with their superhero stuff and their mundane stuff. Their mundane stuff in a very superhero parody way. I tend to like that stuff. That's pretty much what it is. I will admit, a lot of it's nostalgia goggles because I really liked it as a kid, I really liked it in high school, and I really like it now. It's fun all around. It's really likable. I like the superhero parody stuff in animation. The characters are very well defined. They have a lot of fun with it. They play with character types that we would have been familiar with, and it's just fun. It was my favorite part of Dexter's Lab, and I would say that's still true here. If you like it, check it out. If you don't, feel free to let me know why. What do you think that would be like if it came out today? I feel like today you'd probably see more angst jokes, probably jokes about how angsty. Maybe it'd be called Justice Friends, the Dark and Gritty Reboot, because that's what we like right now, I guess. Well, as much as I like angst, it's nice to see something that's bright and colorful and passionate, and I've said that a lot, so support your friends, watch Justice Friends. That line was too good not to end with.